When I was 12, I moved to a 2.5-mile island called Deepwater Key. Not a whole lot to do, very isolated, no television, there were no cell phones, no other kids. I learned some pretty important life lessons during my time on the island. Now when I look back on it, I understand the lesson of the art of being bored. Complaining about it, whining about it, walking around feeling sorry for myself didn't fix the problem, that there was nothing to do. And it became an ally of sorts because I had to figure out how to fill that time. I had to figure out on my own. Now all of a sudden, instead of it being a negative and dragging me down, now it became this, okay, I can do whatever I want today. Some of the most important lessons that you learn and some of the more challenging things that you go through are fixed with moments of silence. It's easy to single out people who are different because of the way they look or the way they sound. As a result of being the only blonde-haired, blue-eyed white boy within 70 miles of where I was, empathizing with them is a better way to go. Empathy can cross that boundary with somebody who doesn't look like you, sound like you, or talk like you. So a harder lesson that I learned, there were a few challenging times when we lived there where we had to deal with a very catastrophic situation. The generator house caught on fire one night, and this was the power supply for the whole island. And there's no running water because there's no power because the generator house is on fire. So we had to form a bucket chain from one of the docks with people with buckets, pouring them into buckets all the way until they got to the generator house, where they would take that, whatever remnant of the bucket is left, and dump it onto the generator house. Guess what? In every one of those situations, the sun rose the next day. It was a beautiful day and a tropical paradise the next day. What happened that day before, the sun rises again tomorrow, and it's in the past immediately. So this wasn't a lesson that I learned. This was a lesson that the people who came to the fishing resort had to learn. You have to sunblock. And so people would be very diligent. They would put sunblock on. They would be very proud of themselves. And their feet were bright red. I mean orange-ish, purplish red, because they were so sunburnt from not putting sunblock in these nondescript places that you don't think about when you're not in an island close to the equator like this. And this is the small stuff, right? But by overlooking it, you end up with a repeated mistake that you keep making over and over, that's small in the beginning, that ends up being catastrophe because you've overlooked it for so long. All those lessons still come into play every day with the work that I'm doing now as a grown-up.